Hey guys, and welcome back to another Conan Exiles video. Today we are in the far eastern islands, directly north of the wreck of the Martyr and just east of the landmass directly south of Jamilla's Liberty, building a stone prison. This build was suggested by Broccoli Farmer on my Tower of Heaven build guide, though I was unable to find his comment when I was looking for it last night. He may have deactivated his account or something, but alas, thank you for the suggestion. I've previously built a prison in the desert quite a while ago, and whilst I did like the concept of that prison, I also have my reservations about it. I feel like the modern prison design I used in that video didn't really fit the style I was going for, and instead looked a little bit too comfortable and cosy from both the outside and parts of the inside. Therefore, this prison will be designed to be a harsh, punishing and imposing structure that perfectly captures the essence of an inescapable structure designed to house the most vicious and irredeemable of prisoners. According to my build list, Broccoli Farmer requested this build to be made entirely out of stone, and therefore that's exactly what we'll be doing. Stone actually fits this build quite nicely. So, without further ado, let's get started. Firstly, we'll start off with the base plate of the prison tower, which is a simple 4-tier circular foundation made from stone wedges and square foundations. From there, I'll build out a small square section to dictate where I want the entrance of the prison, then further using foundations to build down the mountain on this island in a single tile pathway, trying to hug the curves and ridges of the environment as best as possible. This pathway is going to be where all prisoners will have to walk from the intake area, a small dock down at sea level, all the way up to the entrance of the prison. Whilst this massive pathway gives a clear path of traversal to the prison, it also works in helping to ground the prison visually, helping it to both appear more imposing and to also give it some logical reasoning in terms of how people would access said prison. This sort of design was inspired by one of Doomshade's builds on the Colonising Conan server, a massive castle built on some of these closely packed islands in the east that utilises the environment amazingly well. You'll see this build in a video in the coming weeks, as it's about 90% complete at the time of recording. Make sure to keep an eye out for that video, it's an amazing build and I'm sure you'll all love it. Further down near the shore, I built a small keep that would act as a funnel for incoming prisoners, using a 2-tier circular base to create said keep. I created 2 floors connected together with an exterior staircase. At this point I also went back up the pathway and added stairs and frame walls, using slope sides to ensure the walls are always above head height. Next I went back down to the intake keep. This is where I built the dock that would allow ships to deliver prisoners. I first built up a small block of foundations in a square, then cutting out the centre block facing towards the ocean, and building out a dock using stone foundations at sea level, placing fences around the edges of the dock. I placed a vertical ladder in the small alcove I just cut out in the foundation block, then placing wedge ceilings around the top of the elevator to give it a little bit more breathing room, supporting this ceiling section with pillars. I then built a standard circular roof atop the keep, using inverted wedges to add some spiked accents. Next, for the prison walls. I first built the walls and doorways of the entranceway, creating a small buffer area between the entrance and the main body of the prison itself. Each floor of the prison will be 2 tiles high, so after building a rough perimeter wall around the main prison tower, I placed ceilings and prepared the roof mount atop the entranceway. The design for this tower is that cells will be built on the perimeter wall, with a walkway and stairs connecting each floor and leading down into the mess hall on the bottom floor. I'm using this design to build up the cells on the bottom floor as a rough outline of where each cell will sit on each floor, though I would later change this design on certain floors to allow for group cells of up to 5 prisoners. I then went and built the roof of the entranceway, creating a standard flat apex roof and finishing it off with wall caps and rooftop pieces. I then continued to build the walls up, allocating 2 tiles for each floor, for a total of 5 floors. I separated each floor with ceilings and walls between each cell depending on the intended number of occupants, and then continued to build up the cells to the top of the build. Skipping ahead, each cell is now complete, and I'm going to place a simple roof atop the tower, utilising ceilings to create a flat roof, and using stone walls on every other tile above the roof to create a castle-style design to make the tower look more interesting. I wasn't too happy with the outside of the tower, but due to not being able to build any interesting things like balconies due to, of course, the nature of this build, I instead opted to create support buttresses. I built buttresses between each window tile, which helped to greatly increase how visually interesting the tower looked, along with giving it some visual support through these columns. I also repurposed the cell on the ground floor opposite the entranceway in the prison tower into a kitchen, creating a small back area where food can be cooked and served to the cafeteria area. I would also later add a storeroom attached to the kitchen, repurposing another adjacent cell for this room. Next I took on the stairs. This is where I decided upon creating some group cells on certain floors in certain areas, as some smaller cells would be made inaccessible due to the structure of the stairs. As it was, these group cells worked well and made sense within the style of the prison. I built the stairs up between each floor, using a single ring of ceilings to create walkways around each floor, protecting said walkways with fences. Finally, I placed doors around the entire build, using mainly the prison style doors for, well, obvious reasons. Finally, when the shuller build was done, it was then time to, of course, furnish. Approaching the dock, this area is lit with standing and bracketed torches. This is probably the brightest part of the build to facilitate night deliveries of prisoners, but the lighting becomes far more moody and appropriate as we get deeper into the build. The intake keep and the pathway is designed to demoralise the prisoners, forcing them into a lengthy walk of shame as they climb the mountain to the prison. This is a very long walk that emphasises the verticality of the environment, with the final stretch of the pathway to the entrance being watched over by the imposing prison tower. Entering the buffer zone in the entranceway, this is where prisoners are funnelled from the pathway to the prison, being searched beforehand to ensure they're not carrying any contraband. Entering the prison, we end up in the mess hall. The prison is intentionally quite dark and messy, with guards of the Silent Legion watching over the mess hall to ensure nobody gets hurt. Well, not seriously hurt, at least. The kitchen is a small yet functional area where some of the more practically skilled prisoners are trusted to prepare food for other prisoners in the mess hall. Heading up to the first floor, we can see the design of one of the trio cells, designed for, of course, 3 prisoners. These cells are probably about as comfortable as they look, being fairly cramped and uninviting. Heading up to the second floor, we can see one of the group cells that holds 5 prisoners. Again, not a comfortable living area, but it is slightly offset by the size of these cells. Heading up even more, you can see how dizzyingly tall the tower can get. We'll head into another room showing the design of the 2-man cells. These are far more manageable in terms of how comfortable they can be, with the solo cells on the top floor being one of the most comfortable rooms in the prison, designed for the powerful prison leaders. And there we have it, a stone prison in the far eastern islands of the Exiled Lands, directly north of the island holding the wreck of the Martyr. Thanks for watching, and again thanks to Broccoli Farmer for the suggestion. This was a build I really enjoyed making. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like and let me know in the comments below if you have any build suggestions for future videos. As usual, anything is welcome. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch and join the fun on our Discord through the links in the description, and if you'd like to support the future of this channel, the link to my Patreon is also in the description below, with various tiers and rewards including special Discord roles, sneak peeks at new videos, your name at the end of videos, and more. On that note, a thanks to our patrons Sammy, Doomshade and Dawnfox. If you're new here, feel free to check out the rest of the content on the channel. There are plenty more Conan Exiles videos coming every Wednesday and Sunday, so if you like what you see, subscribe to be the first to see the next video, and to join us on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.